Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
That's right, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Coffee with Cramer. I'm your host, Rob Cramer. Thank you once again for joining me. We got a lot to get in today, as this is the Super Bowl Spectacular 2021 edition. As Super Bowl 55 is rapidly approaching us, we have a special guest coming on in just a couple minutes, Daniel Bobo Kurlan from Compound Media. I'll run through his credits in a little bit and his plugs at the end. But, Dan is a great friend, a great guest, and always great to chat about sports. But before we get into that, a couple of little things to get into. As the Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are ready to play in Super Bowl 55. Like I was just saying, the Tampa Bay Bucs become the first team in the history of the NFL to host the Super Bowl in their own stadium. But it's a shame, actually, that it's not going to have fans in it, although it does make it a little bit easier for the Chiefs now. They actually are saying that there's going to be about 25,000 fans there. But, it's still not going to be the packed 80,000 people where it would be completely insane. That's one thing that people have always wanted to see, a team that's in the Super Bowl be in their own stadium. First time it's happened, Super Bowl's been happening since 1967, or 66, actually. I forget which one. Either way, the Packers won the first two. And I think it was January 66 season, though. But, the one thing that you have to remember is that the Super Bowl is it brings out the best. Right now we've got the defending champion, Kansas City Chiefs, coming in with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and, former Jet Le'Veon Bell, man. You go from the outhouse to the penthouse, so to speak, in the course of just a few months, as he was a Jet as recently as October. And now he's on the defending champions, looking to repeat, and they've done the work. They've ran through the postseason for a second straight year. They've made the playoffs. They won the division. They've now won the conference for a second straight year. They were knocking on the door. They could have done it 3 straight years, but the Patriots were still at the height of their game just a couple of years ago. Tom Brady, however, still at the height of his game, though he threw 3 interceptions in the in the NFC Championship game. He also threw 3 touchdowns, and the touchdown at the end of the first half, right in the corner of the end zone, that made it 21-10. Really put that game out of reach for the Packers. It was 28-10 shortly after that, and the Packers and Aaron Rodgers could only do so much. Lambeau Field might be a tough place to play at, but they've been losing championship games there the last couple of times. They lost to the Giants. They lost to now. You can also add the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to that list. The Buccaneers, the 2002 Buccaneers, you got to remember that team, one of the best defenses of all time. You can put that defense up there with the 85 Bears and the 2000 Ravens and just some of the better defenses we've seen in the Super Bowl era. They had Keyshawn Johnson on that team on the offensive side of the ball. Warwick Dunn was their halfback. Brad Johnson, good quarterback, I remember him with the Bills also. They just had a team that was just put together to win. And then, you have guys like Warren Sapp and Brooks and these big guys on defense. You even had Tiki Barber's brother in the secondary, Rondé. Just a very, very talented team. And now this is the first Buccaneers team since then to make the to make the Super Bowl. to win their conference and represent that conference in the Super Bowl. They were going against a tough opponent that year in 2000. For the 2002 season, it was February of 2003 that they met in the Super Bowl that year. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers won that game 48 to 24 against the Oakland Raiders, a really good Raiders team. John Gruden had just switched from the Raiders to the Buccaneers, and offensive line coach Bill Callahan took over the Raiders, led them to the AFC Championship game, which they won. They went to the Super Bowl with Rich Gannon as the quarterback. You had Hall of Fame wide receivers on the outside with Jerry Rice and Tim Brown. Two really, really good teams going head to head. The Raiders just weren't up to snuff, and they ended up getting it done. So you just got to hand it to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They got it done that year. Can they get it done this year going against a defending champion? Now, the Oakland Raiders were a tough test back then, but they were not a defending champion. They were not the Patriots. They were not the Rams. They were not teams that had won Super Bowls around that era. This era, the Kansas City Chiefs are one of the best teams over the last 3 years. Even going back before that, they had Alex Smith, who's still hanging around. He's still popping up with the Redskins and, the Washington football team, I'm sorry. He's still popping up with a lot of those type of teams. So you really have to give it to Andy Reid with what he's done. He's groomed Patrick Mahomes in the best way possible. He has more offensive weapons than you can shake a stick at, and a very good defense as well. Speaking of defense, on the defensive side, the Buccaneers have former Jets head coach Todd Bowles as their head coach. So don't sleep on that defense. He might have not been a great head coach, but he's a very good defensive coordinator, and he's done a lot with that team. They averaged allowing 22 points a game this year. That's off the top of my head, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, as I have no notes in front of me. They averaged allowing 22 points in the game this year, which is good enough for 9th in the league. Hard to believe. I'm a guy that grew up in the 90s and the early 2000s where you had defenses that allowed over 20 points a game were not considered good. Now, if you allow 20 points a game, 22 points a game, you could still be in the top 10 in the league. So, that's a tough thing to do now. Is offense is really one of the top things that the NFL cares about. Defense, not so much anymore. But defense is what helps you win championships, and you have to get the most out of them, even if you're still allowing yards and points. So, tip of the cap to Todd Bowles. Good to see him in a Super Bowl and having success after leaving the Jets. As I had no hard feelings with Todd Bowles, I just knew as a Jets fan that much like he was a better coach than Adam Gase. I'll give him that. At least they gave us 2015, which was 15 games of good football and 1 game of slop in Buffalo in Week 17. So tip of the cap to Todd Bowles. Good luck. And I'm taking the Chiefs -3 against the Tampa Bay Bucks. Bobo, as you'll see in our interview, which will be coming up in just a moment, is taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers +3. So me and him are going head to head. Very fun. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Hope you like it. And I hope you like this interview with Bobo, and I'll be back to close it out in a minute. Thanks for sticking around. I'm Rob Cramer, at Cramer New York on Twitter. This is Coffee with Cramer, and we'll be right back with Daniel Bobo Kurlan. All right, now I'm going to welcome to the show Daniel Bobo Kurlan from Compound Media, good friend of mine on the Super Bowl Spectacular here for Coffee with Cramer as we got going on right now. And Dan, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. Just getting ready for that big blizzard tomorrow.
Yeah. Super Bowl Sunday is going to be a little interesting here in New York as we got a big blizzard coming in. Supposedly, Sunday night into Monday? They're saying.
Yep, exactly. Well, my cousin and her husband are going to be at the Super Bowl.
Really?
Yeah, her husband's they live in Tampa. Her husband's a big Bucks fan, and somehow she got to be at the game somehow. I don't know how they got the tickets, but they did. And they're gonna be at the Super Bowl.
Very cool, very cool. Yeah, I like that they're at least allowing a few people into the Super Bowl. It's gonna at least still have a somewhat normal feel to it, even though it's gonna be like a quarter capacity or something.
Yeah, something like that. I heard like 25,000. I heard.
Okay, and that's like an 80,000 seat place, so that's not bad. You can, it's going to be nice to see them with real people in the stands and not cardboard cutouts like we saw for Major League Baseball for most of the year and for some of these other places.
Yep, exactly. I was laughing at some of the NFL stadiums, including the Meadowlands, that just had empty seats.
Yeah.
It sounded even weirder. The fake crowd noise. It sounded weirder with the empty seats than it did with the cutouts.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Even the WWE is doing that stuff now. Have you seen their Thunderdome?
Yeah. I've seen the Thunderdome with the little tiny screens.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's weird. It's not normal, but I mean, it's at least something. What do you think?
Yeah, it is something. I actually could have been a part of one of the Thunderdomes, but I got a friend of mine told me that gave me his link a little bit too late when I was at a supermarket. I caught the link when it was too late.
Oh shit!
I could have been in a Thunderdome. I think it was for a Monday Night Raw.
That would have been cool. And there have been plenty of Opie and Anthony signs on Monday Night Raw over the years. You remember going back to those days? I think even, I could be wrong about this, but I think Big A even had a sign at a WWE event one time for Opie and Anthony.
I think he might have did. I remember a No Filter Paul did, but I don't remember Big A. I gotta ask Big A next time I see him if he did.
That's true. That's true. And so obviously the Super Bowl spectacular. Dan, what do you think of the Super Bowl tomorrow? We got Tom Brady and the Bucks taking on Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Definitely one of the all-time matchups when it comes to quarterbacks and the old lion taking on the young lion type thing. What are your thoughts on this game? And who do you think comes out on top?
I think this one probably could be Brady giving potentially a last hurrah in what could go down to the final drive of the game.
Definitely final drive type material, no doubt about it, especially with these teams. And I mean, you think of the Super Bowls the Patriots have been in, and pretty much every single game comes down to either a field goal or a last second play, or it's never a blowout for the most part. And so you think it's a last drive potential. You think Brady's coming out on top? You think Tampa Bay wins their first Super Bowl since 2002?
I just have this weird gut inkling that they are going to have a bit of an advantage because the Super Bowl, normally the teams are arriving in the Super Bowl city a week in advance. This year, because of the circumstances, it was decided that the teams would not be traveling until, I think I heard correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was 2 days before the game. And because Tampa technically, and this feels weird saying this for a Super Bowl, but officially they're the home team.
Yep.
They did not need to travel, so they had all that extra time to be on site to get ready. Well, Kansas City could not get to, as I said, didn't get to Tampa until I think 2 days before the game, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I think you're right. I was pretty sure that either Thursday or Friday before the game was when they're doing travel. Because normally they'd be, like you said, in Tampa for media week and everything like that. But they don't even need it this year because they're doing everything like we're doing right now on Zoom, and everything's being done virtually. So, luckily they were able to work that out. And, we still got a couple of good media bits this week. I don't know if you saw Osi Umenora interviewing JPP. Did you see that?
Yep, I saw that. That was neat to see a reunion of two members of the Super Bowl 46 team. It feels like yesterday I was watching that Super Bowl with my mother, my sister, and my friend from around the corner. We're watching that game, and a couple of days later, I'm watching the parade standing in the Canyon of Heroes and eating a burger at Donovan's in Woodside after I returned back to Queens from the parade.
Very true. Very true. That's one of my biggest regrets was not being a Giants fan, as unfortunately I chose the Jets, and I'm still waiting for that burger at Donovan's after my championship parade. But maybe at some point in the next 50 years I'll get one.
Yeah, hopefully you may have one after baseball season.
I think we're in good position this year, buddy. You know what? I was going to save that for the end, but since you mentioned baseball and you got that beautiful Mets hat on, what do you think? We're about 24 hours now removed from Trevor Bauer deciding that he's not going to sign with the Mets, that he's going to go for the hometown reunion, go with the Los Angeles Dodgers. He's from the LA area. He went to UCLA. So I kind of thought the Mets were betting against themselves at this point, or really helping him leverage the money from the Dodgers. So what do you think after being jilted by Trevor Bauer?
At first, I felt the same way as I did when LeBron James had made that whole spectacle of his free agency. During the whole time, it was all hyped up that the Knicks were going to get LeBron James, and we all know how that worked out.
Yep.
Felt the same way with Bauer, the way he was making a spectacle, only he didn't do a 1 hour special. He did a whole multi-month special, as I can pretty much say.
Exactly. And his agent, the worst part about it to me was, and look, I got wrapped up in it just as much as everybody else. I was really hoping that the Mets landed Trevor Bauer. I was willing to give him, whatever, $40 million a year, whatever he wanted. His salaries are crazy at this point anyway. So and we have the richest owner in baseball. So let's throw that money around, Stevie. But I got really wrapped up on it. I was really hoping the Mets landed him and everything. And I really thought yesterday afternoon that they were going to sign him, because he was releasing all this stuff on his website where he had a signed Mets hat that he was giving away. And then a few minutes later, he released a signed Dodgers hat. And then a few minutes after that, he released a signed Angels hat. So he was really just teasing everyone. And he was sending out newsletters to people that were New York fans. If you signed up for his newsletter, it would say that he can't wait to take the mound in Queens. And, he was sending out T-shirts, designs of him in front of the Big Apple and all these kind of things that really teased Met fans. So I really thought that he was going to be a Met, and I was a little disappointed. But you know what? He's kind of been average for most of his career, except for the last 2 or 3 years. So I think the Mets might have dodged a bullet than paying this guy $40 million a year. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we dodged a bullet, not having to worry about someone who Jim Norton would say would be the equivalent to a girl from Philly. You know how he says girls from Philly are nothing but a tease.
Yeah. I could see that. I could definitely see that. I mean, and the Dodgers might live to regret that contract, because if you end up paying that guy, 110 or whatever million for 3 years and he's got 3 mediocre seasons, there's going to be a lot of not happy Dodger fans out there that they just landed him. So, but I actually, we haven't spoken on camera, at least, since before the Mets got Lindor. So how you feeling about Lindor too?
I'm excited about Lindor. I have some friends from Cleveland who were raving about Lindor, who were telling me, "Oh, you guys got a great player." Like they were sad at the time that he was leaving, but they were kind of happy for me that they knew like Lindor was probably going to be worth it. And I'm excited about Lindor.
I agree. I think he's going to be a great leader for the team, especially Carrasco too. I think a lot of people overlook Carrasco. I think he's going to be great for them. I think there's a lot to be positive about with the Mets. They might have swung and missed on 3 big free agents in Real Muto going back to the Phillies. You have Bauer going to the Dodgers and Springer going to the Toronto Blue Jays. So those are 3 guys that a lot of Met fans really had circled and really wanted coming into this offseason. But if you really look at what the Mets got, we got McCann, a very good defensive catcher with a decent bat that's coming around, at a reasonable price too. They ended up getting Trevor May, who's a really good back of the end bullpen guy, picking up Carrasco and Lindor, like we just said. Carrasco could be a really, really solid number 3, or maybe even coming into the season a number 2 type pitcher behind DeGrom. And Stroman's in that mix too. You're going to have Syndergaard coming back. I think the Mets are really, really well positioned. And another thing that I know it really doesn't mean anything right now because we didn't get any of the big names in free agency, but they made offers of $100+ million to 3 different players this offseason. When was the last time we could say that? That's Yankees type stuff.
I think the last time I remember that may have been around the off seasons leading up to 2005 and the off season leading up to 2006.
Yeah, no, you're right. Like when they were going out and spending money on Pedro Martinez and Carlos Beltran and trading for a guy like Carlos Delgado and signing Billy Wagner. So they really laid the groundwork for that really great 2006 team. And even though they didn't make the playoffs in 07 or 08, they still had pretty good years up until those last few weeks.
Yep, I still have the would have been playoff tickets from 2007 and 2008. I had partial plans those 2 years. From 2006, I had a partial plan. In 07 and 08, I had a partial plan. I still have those all those would have been playoff tickets from 07 and 08 for what would have been every round of the playoffs. One game of each round.
Yeah, it still hurts. It still hurts. I definitely that's why even in 2015, I knew the Mets were on a great run, but I wasn't willing to bet they were making the playoffs until they finally clinched that game in Cincinnati. So
I actually still remember that. My sister said, "Why wasn't they calm down?" I said, "Shannon, I still remember the pain being there at Shea Stadium in those 2 years."
Yep. That's why I'll never forgive the Marlins for that too. I'll never forgive the Marlins.
I still give my I have a cousin who's from South Florida. I give him a lot of grief because he's a Marlins fan.
Yeah, I don't blame you, but I still can't believe that they made the playoffs this year. Oh man, but okay, Dan. So let's see. Back to football. We got the Brady and Mahomes we were talking about. So just to put this one down, you're picking Tampa Bay in this game over the defending champion Chiefs.
Yep, I'm picking Tampa. I'm picking Tampa in the last drive because this game's going to be one of those games that could be a high scoring game and could be down to that last drive. Both quarterbacks have that ability to have those kind of games, and it's going to go down to the last drive. And if Brady has that ball in that last drive in the fourth quarter, it could go down to that. Yeah,
I definitely agree with you, man. That's and who could bet against Tom Brady at that point? And not to mention too, he's beaten Mahomes at this game before since they knocked off the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game when he was with the Patriots a couple of years ago. So, but then if you really think about it too, the Chiefs really could be in 3 straight Super Bowls right now if they hadn't lost that game. So there's a lot going on this game. There's a lot riding. Tom Brady, obviously the greatest of all time, as much as we might like him. I still can always harken back to Eastside Dave's famous YouTube video, "Forget Tom Brady."
I listen to that song every Super Bowl. I want to remind people, this was sorry Chicago, but this was the greatest Super Bowl song in the history of Super Bowl songs.
No doubt about it. And it even has an extra layer of legendariness to it now after Dave, revealed the last couple of weeks on the show that who was the punter? Was it Steve Weatherford for the Giant team, right?
Yep, it was Steve Weatherford.
So he said, did you see this on the Eastside Dave show that, Lawrence Tynes said that Steve Weatherford did a dance Super Bowl week to that song in the Giants locker room?
That just stoked me when I heard that. Like, I was excited when I heard that one of the 2011 New York Giants actually listened to that song.
Isn't that crazy? Like, that is so cool because obviously I remember hearing that show, like, not only on the hearing that song for the first time, not only on the Davey Mack sports program, which was great, but on the Ron and Fez show. I remember Ronnie Bennington would play that all the time, especially leading up to that Giants-Patriots second Super Bowl they played in '46. And just to know that the Giants were not only aware of that song, but that Steve Weatherford was doing a dance to it is just amazing, right?
Yeah, that is amazing. I pulled out my phone, like, I think it was the day before the Super Bowl. I was buying my stuff for the Super Bowl, and I was picking up the cake along with a couple of Giants decorations that I was purchasing for the Super Bowl party.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was funny to crank up that song to 11 at the Stop and Shop in Maspeth.
Yeah, you can't beat that. And whether Stop and Shop in Maspeth liked it or not, the Giants would go on to cash in that on that Forget Tom Brady song. And they definitely, as Dave so eloquently put, fuck the shit out of Tom Brady.
And I immediately called my Sports Illustrated to buy another subscription after they won it.
I can't wait to do that. Because I remember even in '94 when the Rangers won the Cup, which aside from
collector's edition, by the way.
Oh, really? You got that?
Yeah, I made my mom get me that collector's edition when they won it. She called them up when they aired the commercial. She called them up, and she got it. I purposely let my Sports Illustrated subscriptions expire until one of my teams wins a championship. And if I'm still stuck in a multi-year subscription, I'll just buy another subscription.
Well, I thought that too, and I'm still waiting for a championship since 1994. But that's just the problem with being a Mets, Rangers, Jets, and Knicks fan. So I've seen my team make the finals a couple of times, but never actually win.
Yeah, exactly. So I still don't have a Mets collector's edition. I don't have a Knicks collector's edition yet.
Well, the Mets, I think we're getting close, man. I think we're getting close with the Mets. I think under Stevie Cohen and Sandy Alderson, and just to touch on it real quick, how about that weird stuff with Jared Porter getting fired? It really reminded me of the whole Carlos Beltran thing from a year ago too, where something that happened before the guy even worked for the Mets ended up costing the Mets a really good guy. Whether Jared Porter is a good guy or not, obviously he seems like a bit of a skell, but the fact that it cost the Mets. Jared Porter's a very good baseball mind. He might not be a good guy or a good person in his personal life, but it just stinks they lost a guy that way. Yeah,
makes me wish this woman just came out of the woods a lot earlier.
And the Mets would have known about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and we could have made it. We could have gone with another good GM.
Yeah. Well, I like the guy they have in there now. I forget his name actually, but he's the guy they got from the Red Sox. I think he's going to be a nice addition to that front office under Sandy. And
that's actually what I'm hearing from a couple of Boston people have been telling me.
Really? That's good to hear, because I think the Mets have a lot of good people in place right now, and I'm really hoping, even though on my radio show a week or two ago I talked to Tim Healy from Newsday, and I asked him the question if he thinks that there's a chance that Theo Epstein takes a spot with the Mets after this season, and he said he thought it was a long shot. And I mean, I know it's a long shot, but what do you think about it? Do you think that there's a chance, now that there's a opening at the top of this, that Theo has a chance to get in with the Mets, or would they even want that?
There's a 50-50 chance that next season he could be the GM. As we know, he did admit that he wanted to take at least a year off. So after that year off, it's 50-50 whether he wants to stay in retirement, or he's either going to stay in retirement or become the GM of the Mets and potentially add another championship legacy to his getting championships with teams with long droughts.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I agree. I would definitely, and the Mets now, crazy enough, is it sounds crazy, but we have one of the longest championship droughts in baseball right now. It's kind of, especially now that the Dodgers, won their championship. The Royals obviously beat us. The Phillies won in 10 years ago at this point. A lot of the teams that were around the Mets in terms of championship drought years have won a title. And the Mets really got to get back on that horse and win a title soon, because it's getting to Jets type territory and Knicks type territory.
Yeah, hopefully we'll win this. And I noticed a weird presidential stat.
What's that?
It seems like ever since, I think maybe, I don't know how far back I could go, but it seems like every president has had a New York team win a championship during his administration. And as weird as it is, not a single New York team won a championship during Trump's presidency.
Really?
I think that might be the first time we've seen in ages during a presidency that a New York team didn't win a championship.
That's an interesting stat right there. You're right, because you really think about it. I mean, New York teams, for the most part, I mean, they just got the Yankees and the Giants won under Obama. The Yankees won under Bush. Oh, no, did the Yankees? Oh, no, who won under Bush?
Who won under Bush? I know that the Giants won under Bush, and
did the Giants? Oh yeah, the Giants' first one was under Bush. You're right.
Yeah. The Giants were under Bush under Obama. We had the Yankees won and the Giants won under Obama.
Yeah, the Giants won under Obama. You're right, and then Clinton, obviously the Yankees. What about the first Bush? Oh, the Giants, right? Super Bowl in '91, right?
Yep, Super Bowl 25. I was just watching the replay of that game not that long ago.
Yeah, wow. That's a great game. I was actually talking to Mark Bavaro on my show recently too, and I was asking him about the difference between the '90 Giants and the '86 Giants, and it was pretty cool. Mark Bavaro was saying how tough that '90s Giants team was, and even though they might not have been as talented as the '86 team, he was talking about how he thought the '90 team would have beat the '86 team.
Yeah, that team looked like a great team, and that team fought through adversity. They had an injured quarterback.
Yeah.
And they won a Super Bowl with a guy who I think is the greatest backup quarterback in the history of football. Sorry, Eagles fans. We had the greatest backup ever.
Yeah, and his name was?
Jeff Hostetler. I always mispronounce the guy's name.
Hostetler. You're right.
This goes way back to when I was 8 years old. Even when I was 8 years old, I mispronounced the guy's name.
No, I don't blame you, man. Hey, and he filled in very well for Sims in that playoff run. Won the Giants their second Super Bowl title under Bill Parcells. So I don't blame you. That's why it was pretty cool talking to Mark Bavaro. Two-time Super Bowl champion right there, former Notre Dame tight end too. So and he was a hell of a player, no doubt about it. But hey, Dan, I want to thank you for taking a couple of minutes today. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I appreciate you chatting it up with me. And so just to let you know, too, me and you are going head to head because I'm taking the Chiefs tomorrow night. I think the Chiefs are going to be the first team since Brady's Patriots in 2003 and 2004 to win back-to-back Super Bowl titles.
That's going to be something to see if that happens.
Yeah.
Also, got to plug the Eastside Dave. You could see me on the Eastside Dave show, 7:30 Tuesday, compoundmedia.com.
You got that right. One of the best shows out there. If you want to laugh your fucking ass off, go watch the Eastside Dave show on Compound Media. Compound Media itself, you can check out everything on that website, compoundmedia.com. Anthony Kumi is a great site out there. You can check out all the great shows like In Hot Water and Safe Space with Talib and Wet Spot with Chrissy Mayer. And they just have a lot of great stuff. Obviously, the Anthony Kumi show and the Eastside Dave show, which Daniel Bobo Kurlan is a big part of. So Dan, thank you once again for spending time with me tonight. Is there anything else you'd like to plug?
No, that's all I have to plug. Also, I'm plugging a little thing that I'm in the middle of a YouTube project.
Really?
Remember this? I got the idea for the video in a weird way. Remember the video when I just messed with people who were obsessed with the McRib?
Yeah.
Well, I thought of the idea. Someone suggested. He says, "Hey Daniel, you ever heard of how you go to a McDonald's and they never seen the McFlurry machine ever works?"
Yes.
So I thought of a funny idea to document multiple attempts at getting the McFlurry until I get one. so if it happens the first time, then that's when the video gets released. It gets released at one time. I'm gonna edit the video after I've gotten McFlurry. So if it goes 10 times, then you'll see it document 10 attempts.
That sounds like a hilarious idea. Actually, what's your YouTube channel too? You could plug that because you have some funny ass videos on there with your the beers and everything like that, and your dogs and.
My YouTube channel is Daniel Kurlan, one word, and I'm encouraging people to guess how many attempts it's going to take for me to get a McFlurry. As a matter of fact, I encourage you to give me a guess. Give me a number right now. This way you can see who was right.
I'm gonna say it's gonna take you 4 times.
Okay, we got it on record. You, Kramer, guessed 4 times it would take for me to go to the same McDonald's in Maspeth, Queens, that I will get a McFlurry.
You got that right, buddy. Well, I can't wait to check this out, Dan. Thanks once again for taking a couple of minutes to be here today. And enjoy the Super Bowl tomorrow, and I'm sure me and you will catch up again soon, probably sometime during spring training.
All right, that sounds good. You have a wonderful weekend. And
thank you, buddy. You too. All right, and welcome to Coffee with Kramer. I'm being joined right now by Frankie MacDonald, Dylan, and Trey. Frankie and Dylan do the Dylan and Frankie show, and you can check that out. Frankie, where is that available?
On cable14.com and Cable 14 TV station, Hamilton, Ontario. On cable14.com, click live stream.
Okay, and you can check that out there.
Eastern time.
A lot of great stuff there. These guys very entertaining. They can if you just want to laugh or learn something, no doubt about it. These guys are 2 guys that you want to check out. Frankie, like I was saying earlier off air, I've been a fan of your videos for years. Especially like I was telling you earlier, the Hollywood, the Halloween night videos that you were coming out with, your dancing videos. You've been nothing but entertaining for years and years. What really made you get into starting a YouTube channel and getting these type of videos and putting them out?
That was my own idea. I started my own YouTube channel. I make up my own idea, such as most view video guides. I see 50 hot dogs once, uploaded on May 21st, 2012.
Wow, it was 2012 was your first video?
No, June 13, 2011, like a Townsend Street before Reconstruction video.
Oh, I see. Okay. And now
and I had a YouTube channel, Flank 99. I didn't know how to ignore trolls back then. And I had to shut my old YouTube channel down because I didn't know how to ignore trolls back then. I was on Tosh.0, Season 2, Episode 13. That was my severe earthquake warning for California, September 2010 video.
Yes, I do remember that. I remember seeing you on Tosh too. I think that's where I first became aware of you. Also, I also was hearing your videos on the Ron and Fez show here in Long Island. I remember hearing that 8-9 years ago at this point. And now
yes.
you've been doing the Dylan and Frankie show. Now, how long has that been going on for?
It's been going on since January. We taped 4 episodes back in the fall, and the show's been going really good, getting a lot of good reviews. We've had a lot of celebrities on, and we're going to get more. We're hoping to get Eugene Levy on at some point. He's from Hamilton. Wow. And we got 3 more tapings to do in March, and then our season wraps up, and then hopefully we'll be back for season 2.
And now that would be really awesome. Now, when are you guys? So, if you guys wrap up in March, when are you thinking about starting season 2? Is that even a thought yet?
It will be up to Cable 14. I'm sure that we'll have season 2 at some point. Probably won't be maybe closer to maybe like the springtime, maybe, or maybe July or something like that, or maybe. I know that they're working on a new website. And they have other production projects going on as well. So we'll be back at some point, I'm sure.
All right. And
let's do a picture.
Oh, there we go, too. We got the Frankie MacDonald action figures right there. No doubt about that. That's a home run. Frankie, now, before we continue, where can people pick those up?
FrankieActionFigure.com. Let's do a screenshot.
FrankieActionFigure.com.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, cheese. Cheese.
Cheese. There you go, buddy.
What about copy my book and my bobblehead?
That's awesome, man. And be prepared, too. Don't forget
1, 2, 3, cheese.
There we go. All right. And Trey,
the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. My predictions, I want Chiefs to win.
Now, I was just getting there, too. I wanted to start off real quick with Trey. Trey from Houston, Texas over there. What are your feelings on the Super Bowl this year? What are you thinking? Chiefs, Buccaneers, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady. What are your thoughts going into this game?
Well, I think you got to give the clear advantage to the Chiefs. They probably have the greatest offense in football right now. They have all kinds of weapons. I would imagine that Tyreek Hill is going to get doubled a lot, and they're going to pay a lot of attention to him. So look out for Sammy Watkins. Travis Kelce, obviously the best tight end in football. So it's hard to bet against the Chiefs, but I like Tom Brady. He's the best to ever do it. And if they can score enough and their defensive line can keep them in it, I think the Bucs are going to win in a close one. I think they win by a field goal. So
yeah, it's tough to bet against Brady. I mean, I am taking Mahomes and the Chiefs. It's tough. Now I've been seeing a 3-point spread. How about you guys? It's Chiefs by 3, right? That's what they're saying right now.
I think so. Yeah, I think the Chiefs are -3 at the moment.
Yeah.
The one thing I've always wondered about lines, how they do it. I know they give the home team a 3-point advantage, but with this being a neutral field, how they do it with the Super Bowl, do they give the 3 points to the Bucs considering they're playing it in Tampa?
Yeah.
I've always wondered that.
I thought, to be honest, that's a very good point, because I thought the line was going to be a little bit closer because this is being played in Tampa Bay's building. I was kind of surprised that they were still a 3-point underdog, even being played in Tampa Bay. But I guess, with the Chiefs being the defending champions, and just as you pointed out, they have such a good defense, such a deep offense. Not only Patrick Mahomes, not only even Le'Veon Bell being in that mix in the for the running backs and everything, and also on top of that having Kelce as the tight end. So very, very deep offensive team. I think that's the only reason they're getting the nod. But Frankie and Dylan, what do you guys think? 3-point spread. What are your feelings heading into Super Bowl 55 right now?
Well, you know what? Tampa's at home. I think they might win it in Tampa, and it'd be a good year for the city of Tampa. Tampa Bay Lightning winning the Stanley Cup. Tampa Bay winning the Super Bowl.
Let's not forget the Rays also went to the World Series as well. So Tampa might be title town now.
Yeah.
Very true.
So
very, very true. How about you, Frankie? What are you thinking?
And I'm thinking Chiefs are going to win.
So you are taking the Chiefs -3. Same thing as me, right? Okay, so Frankie's taking the Chiefs. We got Trey and Dylan taking the Buccaneers. That's pretty cool right now. We got the old guard with Tom Brady taking on the young guard with Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot of fun to get into there, no doubt about it. Have you guys, now I know it's definitely already underway. I haven't been catching any of it, but have you guys been watching any of the pre-show yet?
No.
It's on right now. I've had it muted, but it's been kind of playing in the background. I don't really pay too much attention to it, but right when it gets to about 30 minutes before the game, that's when I start tuning in to the pregame stuff. But it's such an all-day affair here in the United States. It's so crazy.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way where, I'll really, I've taken a peek at it a couple of times already today, but I'll really be zoning in about a half hour, 45 minutes before game time. Now, Frankie, one of the other reasons...
Oh, go ahead.
No, please, Trey, continue.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just asking Dylan and Frankie if it's a big deal up there in Canada as opposed to down here.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. A lot of people have Super Bowl parties. A lot of restaurants do. A lot of restaurants and bars would do Super Bowl parties. So yeah, it's quite the big deal up here. I know that this year government officials were urging people to do virtual online parties instead. Because of the
and what happens if
pandemic.
King Charles becomes the next king? That means how big party will be, gigantic party all over the world. If a new pope takes over, Pope Francis is a place, that means how big party will be worldwide.
So are you making a prediction right now, Frankie, that Pope Francis is going to get replaced?
In the future, or the King Charles becomes the king.
Oh, okay. That's true. There'll definitely be international events, no doubt about that. Now, Frankie, one thing I wanted to ask you too.
Another guy calling me Jack Husser.
Okay.
Oh, hang on.
Go get him on.
If Frankie, he's got a lot of people getting to him. Hey, Frankie. What's up, Frankie?
Not much. I'm doing great so far.
Sorry, Frankie. He's kind of. Anyways, I think there was.
I got a lot of fans all over the world, even Africa.
Yeah, there was a question for you though, Frankie. I had a question for you.
What's that question?
So what's up with this earthquake? Do you
Going
think
to happen anytime soon in Vancouver, British Columbia, or Chile, or Indonesia? 9.0 magnitude.
Yeah.
Wow, 9.0. Damn.
And if that comes true, Frankie will get it right once again.
So Robert, how long have you been doing a podcast for? Like, how long you been doing this for?
Well, I started doing my radio show about 4 years ago.
That's cool.
Out here on Long Island, WGBB, New York. After I ended up having to change the name, like my original show name was Coffee with Cramer, because that's my last name, Cramer.
Yeah.
So then I ended up doing a Sunday night sports talk show called Sports Talk New York. So what I did was I kind of liked the name Coffee with Cramer, so I just kind of turned that into my podcast version of it.
I know Jack Husser's going to join now too.
Very cool,
That's
Frankie.
neat. So you're also in radio as well?
Yes.
Oh, cool. So I work for ESPN 97.5 down here in Houston.
Oh, very
cool.
cool.
That's pretty neat. We got sort of a connection there. We're both in radio.
Exactly.
You do a lot of the production stuff.
Mm-hmm. And that's the eternal fraternity of being in radio together, right, brother?
Yeah, 100%. It is a fraternity for sure. Do you like run the boards and stuff? Do you have like a board that you guys run, or do you host or?
Well, I have a board op that runs during my show, but when I do my podcast, it's all me.
Oh, okay, cool. So you have like a roadcaster?
Yeah, I've got a
Nice.
What's it called? I got like a whole setup over here. It's like it's portable. I can bring it anywhere, and it's easy to set up. Really, just usually one plug.
Yeah, those boards are really cool. You have like your own drops and everything you can play.
Exactly.
Pretty...
Soundboards and everything like that.
Guys, I'm going to give you guys my social medias. My social media is Twitter is @FrankMcD. My Facebook is Frankie MacDonald and Frankie MacDonald fan page, and my Instagram is Frankie MacDonald 1984. That's Frankie MacD 1984. Username on Instagram. My TikTok is Frankie MacDonald 1984. My Snapchat is Frankie MacDon. My LinkedIn is Frankie MacDonald. My YouTube channel is Dogs and Wolves.
Absolutely, Frankie. And I'm gonna have when I put this video up shortly, I'm gonna make sure it has all of our social medias and everything underneath. So Dylan and Trey, if you guys want to drop me, in the chat here, your Twitters or Facebook, anything you guys want to promote, I'd be more than happy to
100%.
put it up on here.
Yeah. Go ahead. You first, Dylan.
Mine's at TyCatsFan7
Okay.
on Twitter. And I'll put that in the chat actually right now.
Yes, please.
There we go. At TyCatsFan7. And my Instagram is MapleLeaf7.
MapleLeaf7. Okay.
All right. Yeah. And my Twitter is Juggalo_Trey48. That's a sort of a nickname the station gave me. I'm not really a juggalo, but that's my Twitter account. And that's pretty much where I'm the most active is Twitter. And I enjoy Twitter the most. I know it's kind of a cesspool, but I like the news that you get in Twitter. So.
Okay, and Frankie, one more thing before I let you guys go. What's the weather looking like in Tampa Bay tonight? Obviously Tampa Bay weather's not too bad. You were saying it was a little nasty, a little up north, by Orlando last night. What are we looking like in Tampa Bay? Are we going to have a pretty good weather for tonight's game?
It'll be a good game tonight after this. It's going to clear up.
Okay.
So it's looking like it's going to clear up, Frankie. That's looking good.
Yeah, they were saying it's going to clear up here by game time too. 6 o'clock, they're saying that's supposed to stop snowing. So we're going to be getting about somewhere between 6 to 10 inches. So for Long Island, that's borderline for Long Island. It's kind of a lot, but we did get hit with about a foot last week. So, it's kind of kids play at this point.
Yeah. And plus, like, you got to stay in. I know everything's kind of strict up there, but now it's kind of locking down a little bit for a different reason. I guess that's kind of a relief to see lockdown.
International travel right now, it's restricted.
Yeah. But like what I was thinking, like I saw it on the news. I think on AP it said New York locking down because of snow, and I was like, well, that's a relief. At least they're doing it because of snow now.
Yeah, so. You're right. Thank God that we're locking down for a different reason.
Yeah.
These days. And hey, Frankie, I keep hearing you talk about your world tour. I really can't wait to see.
I'll be going to every single country in the world. I'll be performing on stage. I'll be giving those speeches, dancing on stage, doing comedy skits on stage. If anyone's both indoor, outdoor, if anyone's every country in the world. I'll need a professional translator, professional video camera crew, professional photographers. I'll need a lot of professionals. I'll need engineers. I'll need a sound crew and things like that, and soundboard guys and things like that. I'll need a limousine driver. I'll need a private pilot for the private jet. I'll need a lot of guys and sponsors and things like that.
Well, Frankie, I'll tell you this much, my friend. I would be more than happy to drive your limousine anytime because you deserve that, buddy.
I'll be going to every country in the world.
You're an international celebrity, and I'd love to see you here on Long Island. There's plenty of
I think
Long Island for you to come out.
I think Long Island.
Professional translators.
Long Island should probably be your first stop, Frankie. Like,
what about a translator? I'll need a translator too.
I can translate a little bit, but anything outside of Spanish might be outside of my realm, though. All right, guys. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I really appreciate you guys spending a lot of time with me here today. And just before we go, so I just want to finalize this. Trey and Dylan, you guys got the Buccaneers +3. Me and Frankie got the Chiefs -3. That's right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going Bucks.
All right. All right, guys. Well, enjoy the game tonight. I really hope that we get one of the all-time games. And definitely, I will make sure that I'm going to include all your social media on this video, and as well when I post it. And I'll give you guys a follow on Twitter, and let's all stay in touch.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
Have a
Absolutely,
good one.
fellas.
Take
I'd love
care.
to have you.
I'm Frankie MacDonald.
I'd love to have you guys back on the show anytime. Have a good one, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.